Shalom. Call halal Yahweh Bashem Abishai Bashem Bakradash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. To the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners. And to the Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago. And this was a video that popped up in my feed, and I watched it. This is a short video, and this is one of those videos that's just meant to inform and provoke thought. And that believed that was the purpose of this video. This was on the Brother the Warrior Lords on that guy's channel. And when I watched it, first scripture came to mind, then I'm going to let it play, is, or just a bit of it, is Psalms the 83rd chapter. Because it seems that Moab over in Africa is taking a page out of Esau's playbook. And Moab is playing the role of Edom in Africa by buying up everything and pretending to help when they're really taking over and destroying that whole sort of thing. And a lot of Moabites have actually run Edomites out of South Africa and different parts of Africa. And they're investing a lot in Africa, and they're buying up companies and land, and then they're bringing over Moabites to work that land, and the Africans are getting left out in their own country. That's clearly a page out of Esau Edom's book. But this is Psalms 83. In verse 1, and it reads, "Keep not thy silence, O power. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O power. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones." So the people of the Lord is the Israelites, and and they're hidden because they're not out in the open. It's not the people who have been running around the world screaming that they're, ish, and if you speak against it, they call you an anti this and an anti that, because the true Israelites were hidden. Their nationalities and were their heritage was covered up and taken from them, as another people claim to be them to the world. That's prophecy. All right. And then it reads, "They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance." Hence the reason why the Israelites, in Baruch, it says that they, in the land of their captivities, they would remember themselves because of this action that's taking place in the scriptures that I'm reading. And then it reads, "For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles," meaning the houses, the races of Edom, that's the so-called white man, and the Ishmaelites, those are, the Ishmaelites are a big portion of the Arab nations, and of Moab. Moab are the modern day Chinese, right? Then it goes on to talk about the Hagarenes, Gabal, and Ammon, and more Edomites and more Hamites. Well, it seems that everyone who has helped Edom has backstabbed and turned his back on them. And now Moab is doing unto Edom as Edom did unto Jacob. Hence the reason why, dropped the damage on himself. I always like to refer back to that scene in Platoon, when the guy said, "We got zips in the wire," which is a racist term toward people of so-called Asian descent. He said, "We have zips in the wire. I need you to drop everything you have on me." And that was that famous Marine lieutenant who's now an actor, who's been a consultant on many military movies and also played small roles in a lot of movies. But I think his name is Dale, because I had a Edomite boss who was bragging about how she humped him once or something. But anyway, but nevertheless, he he's done that again. Because why? Because Esau was being overtaken by zips, as he said it, and they were overtaking him again. So he dropped everything he had on himself, and it's been in the form of this corona. Right? Because they don't want to talk about this, the U.S. soldiers that went over there to Wuhan, and the whole thing that happened over there, and then the 5G towers and all the, and I'm not 100% sure about all the connections, but it just turned, and the whole statement that was made from the guy from the Telefono or whatever you call that company, and he talked about the damages that 5G do and that whole sort of thing, and that they give flu-like symptoms, and it actually, you end up with cancer or these flu-like symptoms can and will kill you. That's proven. If anyone wants to deny that, that's proven. And it started in Wuhan, and next thing you know, the whole world's economy is just shut down. Just as the Zips were about to win the battle and overtake Edom, he dropped everything he had, because you can say what you want to say. You can look past the obvious evidence, but the fact that the corona has a patent, and so does the COVID. Someone posted it, and I may do a video where I actually show it, but someone posted it on one of my videos, and I saw it, was like, wow. But nevertheless, corona definitely has a patent, and it's American made. So how in the world did it, and they're going to come up with all kind of tall tales of how it got over there, and scientists, sold it and betrayed it and all kind of mess, spies, they're going to, say whatever they're going to say. But but my whole thing is that how did some college scientists, professors, get their hand on a patented virus that's at the CDC, supposedly? Why would this virus be at Harvard or whatever they were trying to say about some scientists took it back over to China and they were experimenting with it? So all that being said and done, it just seems that this action was used to stop Moab from overtaking Esau, because Moab was well on his way to becoming the biggest economy and the most wealthy and powerful country on the planet. And next thing you know, this happens. So, and it's going to shut down everything that's going on in Africa too. So let's listen to that, because like I said in the beginning of the video, Moab was taking a page out of Edom's book.
Because there is a policy of the American government. It's called the Kissinger Report, which was produced in the mid-70s when Henry Kissinger was involved with the government. And it explicitly states, which to this day, it remains the official policy of the American government. It has not changed. Mm-hmm. It may not be implemented by Trump, but it remains the same. That the purpose of the foreign policy in Africa was to reduce the population. So to give aid to countries in Africa, not clean water and schooling and things like that, but contraception and abortion. In order to shrink.
See, they give you help and aid in order to destroy you. The scripture says a gift destroys the heart, man. So all these handouts are just leading them to trust so that they could take from you what's yours. And E did it here in America to both Gad and to Judah and to Issachar and all the tribes for that matter. And they were doing it in the past, and now it seems that China is implementing these actions over in Africa. But this is Ecclesiastes 10:8, and it reads, because of unrighteous dealings and injuries and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another.
The population of Africa, because they have great mineral resources there.
That sounds diabolical.
It is. Yes.
That sounds like something conceived in the mind of Margaret Sanger.
Yeah, definitely. And so at the time, Kissinger and those involved with the Carter administration wanted to shrink the population, make sure that the Africans do not develop and do not use the resources.
See, arresting your development. And that is the whole, and that's the whole of Israel here in America, of the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American. Their policies were set in place to arrest their development, whether it be legally through the legal system, or whether through the penal system, or just in policy when it comes to loans for businesses, loans for homes, loans for school. These policy, Jim Crow laws and things of that nature, redlining. Okay, this is Micah 2 and 1. It says, "Woe to them that devise iniquities and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand. And they covet fields, and they take them by violence, and houses they take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage." And he was talking about how Kissinger and the Chinese are doing this now, Moab, making sure that the Africans, and there's Jake mixed over there in Africa too. A lot of Jake's still there, all throughout West Africa, and there's plenty in South Africa as well. There's a lot of Israelites mixed into that population. But they were making sure that they couldn't use the mineral resources in their own lands, and that Edomites had power control over it. Right? That's what they were doing and ensuring. One more scripture. This is Habakkuk 2 and 8, and it reads, "Because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, of the city, and all that dwell therein." So all these takeovers eventually lead to hostility and violence and blood. They always do.
For themselves, because we in the States, we need them. There's a concerted effort of foreign powers to control the population of Africa. Africa is a huge continent, could feed thousands more people, but
he's so right. I'm going to take this back and let it just play through without interruption. But the continent of Africa is so large, not only could it feed all the people in the different countries in Africa. I think it's something like 56 countries or something to that effect. I'm not sure the exact number. I know it's definitely in the mid 50s. Different African countries over there, and the country is so large and so vast. Not even counting the desert and the jungle areas, that it could. It's got enough mineral sources and land to grow food that could feed the whole world. Which I always wondered, how is it? Because they always showing you the worst parts of Africa. They never show you that they have cities that are bigger and cleaner and better than the ones you find in many parts of Europe and America. But they tend not to show you those parts. They always show you the rundown areas and that whole sort of thing. But I always wondered why a place that was so vast with so much wealth, how yet were they so poor? This is how.
It's a policy of the American government. It's called the Kissinger Report, which was produced in the mid-70s when Henry Kissinger was involved with the government. And it explicitly states, which to this day, it remains the official policy of the American government. It has not changed. It may not be implemented by Trump, but it remains the same. That the purpose of the foreign policy in Africa was to reduce the population. So to give aid to countries in Africa, not clean water and schooling and things like that, but contraception and abortion, in order to shrink the population of Africa, because they have great mineral resources there.
That sounds diabolical.
It is. Yes.
That sounds like something conceived in the mind of Margaret Sanger.
Yeah, definitely. And so at the time, Kissinger and those involved with the Carter administration wanted to shrink the population, make sure that the Africans do not develop and do not use the resources for themselves.
And that being it. Same thing is going on now with this COVID. It's serving many purposes. One is how it was completely disguised the fact that America was collapsing. You were in the middle of a financial crisis. You were in the middle of the crash of the dollar. And you were in the middle of the retail apocalypse. All right, you were in the middle of a failing healthcare system, and the social system, Social Security system was also collapsing, and there wasn't enough money. So this is hiding all that. It's also going to hide the implementation of. They did it also so they can have an excuse to bring in the digital currency, which is going to be connected to this vaccination, and it is possible. People, there's a debate back and forth whether it's the chip will be in the vaccination, but now I'm hearing this thing about this. The vaccination will be in some sort of liquid gel type thing, which has does the same thing that the chip does. Okay, so you still can get it through this because this gel, whatever it's called, I forget the name, can attach to your bone marrow and to your ligaments. I mean to your bones and to your ligaments, and then it's like a receiver in your body. So it's still on it, but nevertheless, however you want to, however that comes to be, because I don't know, it's definitely is preparing you for the implementation of the microchip. However it come, even if they do have some sort of gel that they can shoot that does the same thing as the chip that they've been putting in your hand. All right, because so many people have gotten hip to that, maybe they are going to try to twist it. And it's also reestablishing the order in the world, with all this social distancing and taking away the rights and freedoms of people. You can't show emotions. I just heard that they opened up one of the farmers markets in the suburb outside of Chicago, out in Palatine, and they opened up the farmers market, but yet you can't socialize and talk to people, and that's all that goes on at those farmers markets. Because they had a couple right here in Chicago, one on Division. On the Gold Coast. Actually, they both were pretty much on the Gold Coast. And then, because the other one's in Lincoln Park, just a few blocks north of the Gold Coast. And that's what people would do. The people would come out and set up their booths, and they would sell their fruits and vegetables and sometimes, little meals or whatever it is, they would flowers or plants or whatever, and they would sell their stuff, and the people would come out and shop and buy and socialize. And now they can't do that. So basically, your freedoms have been taken away. America's never going to be the same again. Right? If you think it's just going to open up and everything's going to go back to being normal the way it was, you're sadly mistaken. Life as you know it is over. It's never going to. And you think that America's going to come right back on? They've already destroyed the system. Everything's going to open up, but they're not going to be able to sustain themselves. They're saying this some because only the major restaurants are gonna be able to open up. The smaller ones won't. They need their restaurants at full capacity at 50%. That's not gonna do it, man. So it's gonna be a lot of homelessness, a lot of people without jobs, and it's gonna be utter total chaos in the streets soon enough, man. All right. So hey, get yourself right. Pray, get prayed up, and get your mind right, man, because this time is getting really short. So with that, I'm going to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Hashem, Abishai, Bashem, Rakakwadash, and Wa Abba Babal. Shalom.